On this week's episode of the Jesse T Show, the amazing and powerful Jessica Chait, Managing Director and founding member of Beautycounter. So Jessica.
Hi.
Hey, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. I'm super excited to hear about what you've been creating and building, and I know you've done a lot of amazing things and want to share that with the world that may not have heard about it already.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people already have.
I hope so.
Yeah. So tell the world a little bit about Jessica Chait and your mission, what you've been doing.
Yeah. Well, I work for a company called Beautycounter.
Yep.
I am a managing director and founding member for them. And for those of us that haven't heard of it, I know you have heard a little bit, we are a leader in the clean beauty movement. We are all about educating consumers on what's happening in our personal care industry. It's extremely unregulated. We also are advocates for clean beauty. We are in DC a lot advocating for what's going on, and we provide products for people through our safer products.
Awesome. And so you touched on a lot there about being a purpose-driven company.
Yes, we are a mission-based company.
Yep.
Of course, we offer products, like I said, but we are all about educating consumers and really advocating for those that maybe don't have a voice and can't really get out there and fight for what's going on.
So advocating is huge and standing up for what you believe in. And so much so that I think that you mentioned this before we jumped on air, that this was only the second time in 40 years that this has been brought in front of Congress.
Yes.
Can you talk about that experience and what that was like?
Yeah, this is a very timely interview because last week it was a monumental time for our company. So it was only the second congressional hearing in the last 40 years to really get in front of Congress to talk about what's happening in our personal care industry.
Yep.
And it was huge for us because we were there. So our CEO, Greg Renfrew, that started the company back in 2013, was there, and she was our voice. She was fighting for what's happening. So for those of you that don't know, there is no regulation.
Wow.
So I don't know if you knew that, because you told me earlier that you're into holistic products and into what's happening, but a lot of people assume that our products that we're putting on our body every day, so it's anything. So count what you use.
Yeah.
So most men...
It's 6 or 7, on average, it's 6 or 7 different products people put on their body, from soap, shampoos, lotions, conditioners, all that. Yeah, for men.
For men. So it's about 12 to 15 for women.
So it's like almost double or more.
Double or more. So that's exposing, on average, you to about 200 chemicals a day.
Wow.
Most of them being toxic, that are proven to be toxic.
Not safe for human,
Not
consumption,
safe for
so
human
to speak.
consumption. So they're known carcinogens, they're known endocrine disruptors, they're known hormone disruptors. And so a lot of these health issues that we're seeing, a lot of people don't realize that we're exposing ourselves to these chemicals through our products that we're using. So we were there, and we were there to fight for what's happening. And 1938, I shared that date with you.
About 80 years ago.
About 80 years ago was the last year where we have some regulation. It's 1.5 pages long for a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Very much insufficient.
Yes, very much insufficient. So that is why I am passionate about what I do. That's why I am building a business with this company. I firmly believe in what we're doing, and I just can't say enough great things about Beautycounter and the community that I've surrounded myself with.
So, and you're extremely humble about speaking about this, but we'll go back to the network marketing, the inception for you. But talk a little bit about Beautycounter 2014 when you first started. You were first of 30 people.
Yeah, well, the first of 30 to say I'm going to build a business with this and become a leader with the business. So I got started back in 2014, so a little after they got started. And I think when I got started, there was probably 1,500 consultants with the company.
Okay. Yep.
Most of them not really doing much with the company.
They might have thought it was cool, may have believed in it a little bit, but they didn't go all in to build a business.
Exactly.
A lot of them. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
And we also had not even near what we have today with products. I think I got started with our core skincare collection and a couple body collections, and we had kids products and baby products, and that was it. So when I got started back in 2014, we talked a little bit about this, but I was a stay-at-home mother at the time that had left my career in insurance, and I was actually working in retail at the time. And I decided that, okay, I need to do something, but I needed to tie into my life as a mom.
Yep.
And I wanted to significantly have social impact in my community.
For sure. Make a difference.
Make a
Live your
difference.
passion, live your truth.
Yep. Live my passion, live my truth. I wanted to feel good about my work. Because if I was going to be away from my kids and, really putting my time and energy into something else other than being a mom, I knew that I wanted it to be something that I felt good about every day. And I needed to have that passion. Without the passion, I just feel like people aren't as successful as they can.
It's 100% true.
Yeah.
You have to believe in what you're doing. You have to, when the motivation's not there, the discipline to continue to follow that passion and that dream is what takes over.
Yeah.
Because motivation's fleeting. And so if you have something that's bigger than you, that you're changing things and you feel like you're leaving the world a little bit of a better place, it's easier to get through those roller coasters of the downtimes.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. I knew that I wanted to partner with a company that not only that I could have a significant social impact in my community, but I also wanted to simultaneously be able to financially contribute to my family.
Right.
So I knew that it had to kind of be like the perfect storm.
Yep.
And when I found this company, I was like, okay, wow, this is something that I can build. I can build a business with it while also being able to be at home with my kids.
Yep.
And I could also have that significant social impact. So
it checked a lot of the boxes for you,
and
more
a lot
so.
Of the boxes.
And you had some experience going back even a few years, 2011, with your first foray into network marketing.
Yeah.
And so you had that. What was that experience like? And how was that experience different? Because I know you still hold that company in admiration. You feel good about that company, but you definitely are all in on Beautycounter. So what was that experience like, learning about network marketing 2011, and then also growing into what you're doing now?
Yeah, I worked for a company called Stella & Dot.
Yep.
And again, I have admiration for that company, and really, I thank that company for introducing me to network marketing.
Yep.
Because I knew at that moment in my life I needed to find something for me. I knew that I needed to get out. I couldn't just be the stay-at-home mom. And Stella & Dot, gave that to me, and I was able to get out into my community more. And I realized at that moment, okay, network marketing, while it has a negative stigma sometimes, is really great for somebody like me.
Sure.
I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I had that entrepreneurial spirit. I knew that I wanted to still have a flexible schedule. I knew that I wanted to be my own boss.
Yep.
After working in insurance and sitting in a cubicle all day, I was like, okay, I need to do something that I can be my own boss.
In control.
I can be in control. I can be in control of my financial situation.
Sure.
And it was that company that got me started with network marketing and said, this is the business that I want to be in. And while it had all of the, negative reviews and all of the things online that you can find about network marketing, I was like, no, I see the potential in this. So I knew that I wanted a network marketing company.
Yep.
You can call it direct sales. You can call it whatever you want.
Sure.
Some people call it pyramid schemes.
Yep. Yeah.
They're not. But I knew that when I found Beautycounter, I was like, okay, this is combining the network marketing piece for me, and it's also combining the social impact, the social mission that I wanted.
I love it. And I think that any industry, any business can have a negative connotation because it's the people that are doing something wrong in those industries or in those businesses that leave it, worse off for other people. But there's so much positive that you can do there, and there's so much that you're doing that's admirable. And so, with network marketing, some of the things, because I used to have an outside sales company, and there was about 30, 35 people working with us, and they were doing door-to-door sales, direct sales. They were cold calling people. So it wasn't true network marketing, but it had a vibe of that to it.
Sure.
And I pissed people off growing up, and I'm sure they've called it pyramid scheme. But if you look at any business, right, it's technically a pyramid. There's someone at the top. No matter what you do, there's someone at the top. And so it's just a matter of how you're making people live their lives and feel differently by interacting with them, right? And what you can do to leave the world a better place. And so negative stigma aside, you found a lot of greatness. You found a lot of opportunity to serve your family, serve your community, serve your own goals and your own beliefs of wanting to be successful and wanted to be financially where you wanted to be and have a purpose and a mission. And so now you've went from that first iteration in 2011 through Beautycounter 2014, where you started, till now. And just for the audience that's listening, she's being extremely humble. She was saying she was first of 30 that wanted to build this as a business out of 1,500 people, but it was today, present day, there's almost 50,000 total people under the Beautycounter umbrella.
Yep.
That's huge. So what has that led you to, growing through the positions and levels, and Talk a little bit. I want to talk about the work ethic or the ability to scale and grow this business. So it started off pretty humble.
Yeah,
had a few products, and like now you're doing this. But like, tell us about the journey.
Yeah. You know, I started off just like anybody else would start off today. I think a lot of times people think, you know, you say this negative stigma with network marketing. I feel like people think that it's an overnight success.
Yep.
I think that people...
Takes about 20 years.
Yeah, it does.
Overnight success.
It really does. And, you know, you asked me about my journey, and there were many times in this last almost 6 years that I wanted to throw the towel in.
I bet.
That I was just like, this isn't for me, this isn't working. And what it really takes is small, consistent effort every single day.
Yep. One foot in front of the other, literally. Sometimes it's just getting out of bed.
One foot in front of the other, and understanding that it is it's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Yep.
And I think that a lot of people think that, you know, they look at these network marketing companies and they're like, okay, oh, she's successful because of X, Y, and Z.
Yep.
And a lot of the times they're their own worst enemies. They're telling themselves already that it's not for them, they can't do it.
Limited beliefs kind of thing.
Totally, it's mindset.
Yep.
It's everything is mindset. And in the beginning of my business of growing it, I did have kind of like that, and I still have it to today, some of that imposter syndrome, where I was like, okay, I can't be what that person is.
Yep.
I'll never forget it. This was a pivotal moment in just when I think back to my journey. I was actually at a conference with Stella and Dot.
Okay.
And it was back in, I'd say probably 2012. And it was the very first leadership conference that I went to for a company like this. And I was just like the woman in the back.
Yeah.
And I was probably making, you know, $500 a month.
Yep.
And I would watch some of these women and leaders with Stella and Dot walk up on the stage, and I would immediately think, I could never do that. I could never get there.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. That's just, I would say it's luck, or they started at the right time, or they know a lot of people and they're good at this, and I'm not like that. I can't do that. And I left that conference and I thought, okay, I don't know if this is something that I can do, but I knew I wanted to. So
you had that burning passion, and like you couldn't see the finish line, but you at least knew that you wanted to give it a shot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I knew that I wanted to give it a shot, and I knew that I wasn't with the right company.
Okay.
And that's not to say anything bad about that company. I didn't have that passion, that fire that wasn't in me until I found Beautycounter, and I knew, like, okay, this is something that I will continue to consistently talk about every single day.
Sure. So how did you scale from continuing to show up, making $500 a month, to what was the next kind of iteration in gaining momentum and even some of your efforts of how you were able to become really successful? Yeah.
Well, you know, I'll never forget my first month with Beautycounter. I promoted to director, so that's like our very first like leadership role within Beautycounter.
What does that mean for the people listening? Like I said, it's a certain amount of units or revenue.
Certain amount of sales for the month, and you know, you're really looked at within the company as that's like the first leadership role that you can take.
Yep. Okay.
And so I promoted in my first month. I mean, I just went balls to the wall and trailblazing with guns coming in. I was like, I'm doing this.
Awesome.
And that was when kind of like, I would say 6 months later, I was like, okay, this is when the imposter syndrome set in for me. I was like, wait, what am I really doing? Like, I'm not a leader. Like, how am I supposed to lead this team that I had? I probably had about 30 women on my team at that moment. And I was like, well, shoot, I don't know what I'm doing. And so I think that was where the mindset kind of shifted with me. And I kind of had to give myself the coaching every single day of, no, you were here for a reason. You are a leader.
What did that look like for you? I want to dive deep into that, because there's a lot of people here that are making transitions in life, right? They're leaving their job to maybe start a business, or they have a side hustle. Like they're starting a side hustle, and that thing's starting to take up a little bit of steam. Like, how are you coaching yourself and maybe the people that you're listening to and getting education from to kind of help you through those transitions?
Listening to that's a good question, people. I listen to a ton of podcasts. And read a lot of books. Tony Robbins is one of my favorites. Huge. Brene Brown. Talking about courage and vulnerability. And I think, when you have moments like that, you need that vulnerability and you need that courage. And a lot of it just comes from within you.
Yep. The power within.
The power within.
Right.
I think, yes, books and talking to people and listening to podcasts and all of that helps. But I think for me, I realized at that moment that my mindset was everything. And I also realized that I didn't necessarily have to be the best leader in how I viewed it.
Yep.
It was, for me, I think the leadership, it's personal example.
Yep. Living your truth too. And other people are going to take it how they take it.
Being real, being authentic.
Yep.
I think it's actually John Wooden, one of the things he says, the most powerful leadership tool you have is your own personal example.
Yep.
And so I just said to myself, I'm going to get out and be the best that I can be and do the best that I can do. And other people are going to see that.
Yep.
And it's going to inspire and motivate them. And so that was kind of how I, viewed myself as a leader and how I coach and mentored my team.
Love it.
And it worked.
Yep.
it worked.
And so then you're scaling and building. You're bringing on people to be a part of your team. And what's the message that's resonating with them? Like, what are they? They're following you for a reason. Obviously, you have great energy and you're very professional and you're very intelligent. So there's like a natural, even though you didn't see it initially, there's like a natural leadership trait there. But what's kind of like the rumblings going on between your team of like, there's like a fever they're catching. Like they're getting excited to be a part of your, like, follow your journey. What do you think some of that was for them?
Early on, I think that it's so interesting. Like, as a leader, I feel like I have grown and developed so much over the last 6 years.
Sure.
If I look back in 2015 or 16, I don't think I was half the leader as I am today.
We're not even half the people, right? We grow every year, hopefully.
Yeah, and so I think back then, I think it was just the overall excitement and passion that I had for the job.
Yep.
And I would always share my why. I would always be real. I would always be authentic and vulnerable.
Yep.
A lot of the times people don't have that vulnerability piece and to say, like, hey, this was hard for me too. Like, I had moments where I wanted to throw in the towel. I had moments where I wanted to give up.
Yep.
And, it's in those moments that you really, truly learn the most about yourself.
For sure.
And what you really are capable of. And so I think back then it was just the passion. Today, though, I would say why people are, following me and want to be a part of the team and want to be a part of Beautycounter, I think it has a lot to do with the culture and the community that I've built. Yep. And I can't even say that we have built.
For sure.
I mean, it really is an amazing community of women. And I find that if someone were to ask me, like, what is your greatest success today? Yes, I have a successful business with this company, but I think my greatest success today would be seeing the other women have success in their lives, watching them empower themselves, watching them get out there and create success for themselves that they never thought was possible. And really getting to witness that and be a part of it is what really fuels me now today.
Yep.
And it's why I go out and recruit people. And it's why I go out and tell people about this business opportunity, because, you could be the next person that says, you know what, I'm leaving my full-time job that keeps me away from my kids, 10 hours a day to stay at home with them now and work this side project or side hustle and can create something significant for myself and for my family. It's very empowering. It's amazing to watch.
I love it. So, as you're building and you're growing and you're expanding, it's starting to bleed over into this team that you're building. And now you're building this thing together where it's not just one person's effort, it's many, right?
Yeah.
It's the effort of many. And it's led you to some really cool and really successful levels within the company. Mm-hmm. Recently, or a couple of years ago, I should say, 2017, you spoke at the leadership conference. What was that like for you?
That was surreal.
Yeah. Where was it? What was it like? How many people?
Yeah. Very surreal. So it was a couple thousand people, and I'll go back to my story about Stella and Dot and sitting in that audience and seeing some of those women walk up on stage. I'll never forget going to my first Beautycounter conference, and so that would have been in 2015. And I remember seeing some of the consultants at the time going up and speaking or sharing their journey, sharing their story. And I looked over to the person sitting next to me that's no longer with the company, and I said, I will be on that stage one day.
Called your shot.
I called my shot. I threw it out into the universe.
Yep.
And I remember coming home and thinking, okay, like, I want to prove to myself and prove to others that I can be that type of leader that they would even consider asking me to get up on stage and share my journey and share how it is that I lead and coach and mentor my team. And so that's basically what it was. So in 2017, they asked me to speak at Leadership Conference, and we call it Leadership Summit. And there was I would say there's probably about 4,000 women there.
So it's definitely a decently sized
absolutely.
conference.
Unfortunately, well, I should say fortunately, I didn't have to speak to all of them.
Okay.
It was a breakout session, so there was probably about, I'd say maybe 1,000 women.
Yeah.
Maybe, I didn't count, but it was a lot. And, I got up there and I thought I would be extremely nervous, but at that moment in time, I was just so confident and felt so good about what it was that I was doing that the nerves they weren't there.
Yep.
They didn't exist. And so I got up and
you were in flow state in a sense. Like you were just there and you were crushing it. So what were you going to, I'm sorry to cut you off. You were speaking about, what was your topic?
I spoke about leadership and I spoke about coaching and mentoring my team. And a lot of it had to do with not so much just working a Beautycounter business. It was just in general. It was about leadership in general and how you lead yourself first and then lead others. How leadership starts with mindset. And, having a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. That was basically my entire speech. And it just felt great. It felt great to accomplish something like that, hearing people come up to me afterwards and just saying, thank you so much. You've really helped me. That is where I feel like success.
It's a huge win, and it's a moral victory. Like you're following the right path. You're not just doing it just because. That's the feel good stuff, right? The stuff that makes you feel like, okay, those down times that we all have in business. Those are the times to kind of lean back to and say, okay, let's get back after it because these things are in front of us and they are important to other people. It's not just about me anymore.
Nope. It's not just about you. And I think a lot of people, that's kind of, I wouldn't say a myth, but I'm trying to think of the right wording. Yeah. I think a lot of
fallacy
people...
kind of thing?
Yeah, fallacy. I think a lot of people think that leaders have to be, leading the way all the time and paving the way all the time. Yep. And I think for me, I look at myself like anybody else on my team. I'm like, I am not afraid to get into the trenches and do exactly what I'm asking you to do.
That's a huge mark of leadership because when most people get to a leadership position, they think they've arrived and they lose all that. And now I'm losing the word, but they lose all that credibility.
Yes.
Right? And so it's like, how can you lead from the front? Like back in the day when I had my sales organization and had a bunch of people throughout the Southeast selling, if I couldn't get out and get back into the field and go cold call and go door to door, like business to business and talk to people, I was a fraud because I was telling people how to do this every single day.
And you were doing it.
Have a great attitude. Be prepared. Like all these basic things that like they were eating, 100 no's every day to find 10 yeses. Like it's a lot of averages game, right? It's a lot.
You're speaking my language now.
And so to go out there and get that rejection door after door, you have to have a great attitude, but you have to believe in the system, believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, we used to call it like the field hustle or the field mentality as an owner back in the day, you lose instant credibility with people, and they're not going to follow you. They won't follow you across the street. Like,
absolutely.
So I think that you're setting the example, you're leading the way. And that authenticity piece has thank God it's come around in business over the last few years. But instead of having people that are like extremely political or people that are putting on a mask because either they're uncomfortable or they feel they have to be somebody else, or they're not, just be yourself.
Yeah. I always say be the pace car for your team, not the car that's
setter.
out. You're there. You're there with your team. You're in the trenches. You're doing everything that you ask them to personally do.
Yep. And you can show them how, too.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes you a better leader and trainer is because they say that the best way to learn something is to teach it. So if you can tell people and show them how to get something done, like overturn an objection or talk about how to upsell some more product, whatever the sales techniques might be or whatever the leadership techniques might be, if you can role model those for the people at a high level because you're still constantly working on them yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I love what you say about, getting out there, and it takes grit. Yeah, it really does.
It does.
It takes grit to get out there and to go for all those no's. One of my favorite books is called Go for No. Yep. I can't even think of the author's name right now. It's a very easy read, but it basically talks to you about the averages of how many people that you need to get to tell you no to get to that one yes. And it's actually encouraging you go for the no's because that's getting you one step closer to the next yes.
That's it.
And that's a lot of the times, that's a lot of the reason why people quit.
Yeah.
at any job.
Yep.
Because it's the fear of failure.
Yep.
It's
the unknown, the fear
unknown.
of failure. So if you believe
Yeah.
in a process, you have mentors, you have a system, a lot of times you can lean back on those things. But there's these images of these these memes that are coming up where like the tunnel
Probably
digger,
seen
like
them all.
the
Yes.
tunnel digger's all the way like towards the edge.
The diamond's right
the
there.
The diamonds are just behind like that extra edge of dirt, and they're like, you know what, I quit. And it was
Yeah.
just like that last little bit, and it's like,
Yep.
I've learned in business and I've learned in life that if you don't quit, you don't lose.
Absolutely.
If you just keep showing up and you keep learning and you keep humbling yourself and asking for help and providing help, and it's just a journey. And like there's ups and downs, but at the end of the day, the ups and downs become more minimized, becomes more stable, and you can really
Yep.
count on like what you've built to continue to move you forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You use that meme, that image. One of my favorites is the I'm sure you've seen it, the iceberg.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where
Absolutely.
it's like this is what people see.
The success.
The success
And then there's the
iceberg.
big piece underneath it. It's like the crap, the
Everything.
nose, the
Everything.
Yeah.
Or the image, I always use this one, like, what people think success looks like, and it's like this straight arrow
Right.
that's going up, and then the one that's like
The
what it really
squiggly
is,
back,
and it's just
forward,
like
yeah.
back and forth and all over, and it's like you're gonna have times where you're just like, what am I doing?
Yep.
And if I always tell women and men, I don't work with many men. We need more men. I always tell the women on my team and just with coworkers too, that if you literally just consistently do something each day,
Yep.
even if you're having a bad day or you're going through a period where you're not hitting your 30-day goals that you set for yourself or whatever it is, if you are consistently doing something to move your business forward, then you're doing a good job.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. You're adding to the previous day, and it's
Yeah.
that little bit of weight on the bar, to use that cliche analogy of like weightlifting, right? Like just do a little bit more than you did the day before.
Exactly.
And then sometimes you have to take a step back to take 2 steps forward.
Yeah.
And it's the whole, I put out a video about this not too long ago about there's the guy that's trying to saw down trees and his blade becomes super dull. And someone's like, well, why don't you go ahead and sharpen your blade? And he's like, I have no time. And he's out there being inefficient, where sometimes you have to come back to the drawing board in a business. You have to take that little bit of time to sharpen your saw so you can cut down more faster, more efficiently, right?
Yep.
And so I think that's the same thing in any business, any sales business, any leadership business, where you have to be a really good student so that you can lead. And you have to be
Absolutely.
okay with your self-awareness, to be honest with it, because that's what, and I've seen you do this and do a great job on social media, is just projecting who you are, and that authenticity just bleeds through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the times people are afraid to be their authentic self.
Yep.
They have this this belief in that they have to be a certain way. And I am always coaching and mentoring on that. Just be yourself. A lot of people that are in the sales industry now, particularly in network marketing, still feel uncomfortable with social media.
Yeah.
And still feel very uncomfortable with just putting themselves out there. And I'm always encouraging them, just do it.
Yep.
Who cares if you mess up?
Yep.
Like
Document, don't create.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just do it,
Yep.
and you're going to become more of your authentic self.
Yep.
That you know is there, but you just have to step outside of that comfort zone. A lot of the times, people just don't want to step outside of that comfort zone.
Because it's comfortable.
That's another favorite meme
Yeah.
of mine, where you have like the circle and it's like your comfort zone.
Yep.
And then it's like right out here is where the magic happens.
Your best life is on the other side of fear.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's huge. So for as far as you've grown through the company and you've got to these leadership spots and you've been able to speak and impact people on like a macro level.
Yeah.
What are some of the stops along the way that like you've hit director within that first month, and then speaking at leadership conferences? So like now present day as one of the founding members, one of the managing directors, what does that mean day to day for you? Like what are you doing in the operations? Are you still kind of going back and helping people with the sales side and the recruiting side? Like what does the day to day look like?
Yeah, so it's interesting as you grow with any of these organizations, your business looks different through all the roles. Right now, today, as a managing director, I am managing and coaching and mentoring a team of almost 1,000 women. But a lot of my job is still, I'm such a huge believer in being the pace car and setting by example, that I am still out selling and networking and meeting new people and getting out into my community. And you'll find me doing pop-ups at local stores or gyms. So some of my job is the sales job and recruiting and bringing new people into the company, because I believe that I have a gift to give them.
For sure.
And that is this business opportunity where they can have financial freedom.
Yep.
And they can build a business on the side of their full-time job if they want. It can be their side hustle, but it could turn into their full-time job if they
full-time
want it to
gig.
be.
Yeah.
So I do work on that, but then the rest of my time, of course, is coaching and mentoring the women on my team, so that they too can get to the level that I'm at, and just really helping them realize that they too can do this. So I think a lot of, like I said, a lot of my passion and motivation today comes from seeing others accomplish that.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And when you're in I was in recruiting for many years. And so when you're in recruiting, there's usually a few like core tenets of character that you look for, right? And so what are some of those for you in terms of your recruiting when you're looking to bring someone on the team? Because you don't want just anyone, right?
I don't.
What do you look for?
Grit.
Yeah.
Coachability.
Okay.
Women that are comfortable stepping outside of their comfort zone. A lot of times when I'm talking to somebody about Beautycounter, like, oh, I'm not a salesperson. I could never do that. And I'm like, you don't have to be a salesperson. You literally just have to have a hunger.
Yep, and a belief in what you're doing.
A hunger and a desire to do something and create something for yourself that can make a difference. And people don't understand that at first, but when they get involved with the company, they're like, oh my gosh, like, I didn't have to be the perfect salesperson. I didn't have to be necessarily passionate about clean beauty or clean products.
Yep.
I just needed to have a hunger and a desire to want to change something in my life. And it could be as simple as, this could be something as simple as, I need a passion project.
Yep.
I hate my job. I mean, I can't tell you how many people that I come across that they hate their jobs.
It's true.
And I'm like, you don't have to hate your job. You can find something and build it on the side, because I'm not telling people to just stop what they're doing and quit their job. We have some financial responsibilities in life, yes, but you're the creator of your future.
Yep.
You know,
so much power there if people buy into it and believe it and know it, because it's real. I mean, if you can control. Control is kind of one of those things. Like, do we really have control if you think about the greater scheme of things? But like, if you can dictate income, if you can dictate time with family, time doing the things that you love to do, time to work on passion projects, whatever that is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's extremely attractive, for a lot of people.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I love network marketing so much, because it gives you that flexibility to have. I mean, I can have my passion projects. I mean, we've talked about this before, but I can have my involvement with Handshake America, which we can talk about that if you want. But and I can have that time with my family. Yep. Time is money. Yep. I mean, it really is.
In every sense of the word, and you're not getting time back.
No, you're not getting time back. And a lot of the times when I do talk to people that either hate their jobs or it'll be somebody that I see potential in, and I say, you should get involved with our company and with our mission. And the biggest objection I get is, I don't have the time.
Yep.
And I'm like, you do have the time. Guess what? Every morning when you wake up, you get to decide where you spend your time.
Yep.
And yes, most people have to go into the office and work a 9-to-5, but the time that's spent outside of it, you can choose to do something that's going to change your situation.
And people will always use the excuse of, I don't have time, for things they don't deem or have not made important for themselves. If you believe in health and wellness, you believe in living like a fit life through nutrition, through sleep, through training.
This is a whole other conversation.
Right. And we can get into it. We can nerd out a little bit. But like that, you'll make time for it. You'll get up earlier. You'll work out later. You'll be mindful of what you're doing to kind of match over what you're doing to like the ultimate goal.
Absolutely.
And if you believe in something, if you want something, people will do what they need to do to get it done. So, we will talk about some of your passion projects a little bit further down the road. But I want to talk a little bit, kind of button up the Beautycounter thing with, as far as 2019 is just about to be over. By the time,
decade.
A new decade, right? A whole new decade.
Whole new decade.
And by the time this comes out, it'll be like January sometime, maybe at the end of January. But as far as looking forward with Beautycounter and what you've been able to give to it, what it's been able to give to you, where do you see this bad boy going? Like, what's going to happen?
It's interesting you asked me that question. I just had a friend that asked the same thing last week. And, I would just say, I'm hoping that as a company from our social mission standpoint, that we make significant movement in what's happening as far as regulation.
Yep.
So I'm really hoping that we see significant change there. And from a personal perspective with my business, I just want to continue to give this gift to the women on my team, that they too can have, a significant social impact in their community, plus be able to financially contribute to their families.
Yep.
I work with one individual, and she used to be a teacher. And she has a huge passion for teaching and for kids. She has 2 kids of her own. And I'm sure she will listen to this podcast. But, I was speaking with her a few days ago, and she, let me know that, she is she's earning all the money,
yep.
most of the money in our family right now. And I just got off the phone and I thought to myself, wow, yes, she did all the hard work.
Yep.
She's an amazing person and a very hard worker and a phenomenal leader within the company. But she said that to me, and I got off the phone and I thought, wow, these are the people that I'm working with, and I get to be a part of that story.
Yep.
I get to be a part of this person saying, I left my teaching job and I make more money than I did at my teaching job, and I'm home with my kids and I have a flexible schedule, and I'm contributing to my community in a social way through spreading our mission. And it's just I had a feel good moment.
Yep.
And that's where I want the business to keep going. I want to be able to be a part of those stories.
It really kind of hammers home or solidifies that you're doing the right thing. And the people that have these experiences, that come in contact with you, and again, it's reciprocal. It's like you have these things that you're grateful for your journey. But the people that you're meeting through the company, the people that are coming on board, whether it's on your team or just in the ether of Beautycounter, to hear those stories, to hear the successes, the wins, and whatever it might be, because people are motivated by different things. It could be family time, it could be money, it could be travel, it could be whatever the case is.
Yeah.
And I think if people are getting more of those things, because we're not, again, I always go back to time. It's one of my biggest focuses is you're not getting any more of it. So you have to learn how to live well today and enjoy life today, but also plan well for the future, right?
Yeah.
And I think that what you're talking about and what the people are experiencing is exactly just that. Yeah. Freedom of choice, freedom of time. And those are some huge things that a lot of people feel like they don't have freedom of. So you're doing a great job there.
Yeah. Thanks.
Everything you're saying is just leading back to your purpose and your passion and really resonating with, I think, kind of the mission, right?
Yeah.
And I think part of your mission is also looking at other things that you want to be a part of and how you can help and give back, because now you do have the freedom of time and the freedom of choice, right? And one of the big things that you're focused on in your family, I know, is Handshake America. Talk a little bit about that mission, that drive.
Yeah, so my husband and I heard about this program through a colleague or a friend of my husband's when we lived in Ohio for a few years. And he started this nonprofit organization for student athletes. And basically what they do is they go into local schools and find student athletes with grit and coachability. And they put them through a program where we actually coach and mentor. They get paired with a leader in their field that has seen success. And we get paired with these students and we take them through what was inspired by John Wooden's Pyramid of Success. Okay. And we teach them through the 5 Ps. And so I'll go over them with you so that you understand. Yeah. So basically, it's teaching these kids that you don't necessarily have to have, which most of them do, the best grades or be the best athlete. It's these 5 Ps that you really have to pay attention to for success in life. Okay. And so we take them through the 5 Ps, which are perseverance, so which comes from your gut.
Yep. The grit. Yep.
Passion, which comes from your heart.
Yep.
Positivity, which is your mindset.
Yep.
Presence, which of course, how you present yourself.
Yep. How you show up. Yeah.
How you show up. And then people.
Yep.
So the people that you are surrounding yourself with every day. Like one of my favorite quotes is, "Show me your 5 best friends, I'll show you your future." Another
video I just put out was, you're the average of the 5 people closest to you.
Exactly.
That's absolutely true.
100%.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting to watch these students. I mean, they're high school seniors.
Yep.
I wasn't very mature when I was a high school senior. I mean, maybe I was. I don't know. But
relatively, right?
Relatively, yes. But, it's interesting to see these students come in for their first session, at the assembly where they're hearing from the students from the previous year.
Yep.
and you have these new students that come in and they're like a deer in headlights. They're like, wait, what? What does this have anything to do with me? And then watching them go through the program and seeing them at the final assembly, it really is so rewarding to actually be able to work with these students, to show them that there are a lot of other things that you need to be paying attention to.
Yep.
And it's not just about getting the best grades and going to your number one college choice and doing exactly what you went to school for, and just teaching them how to even do an interview.
Yeah. Life skills that they're not used to yet. They haven't experienced them yet.
You don't learn them in school.
Nope.
You don't learn about perseverance. You do in sports.
Sure.
That's the whole tie-in to the whole student athletes. Because through having coaches, through their sports teams, they're learning a lot from those coaches. And so we are their Handshake America coach, where we're coaching them on the core tenets of John Wooden's pyramid of success. So,
how are you getting into the schools, connecting with these people? Like, what does that look like for you?
That's actually not my job.
Okay.
I am a coach, but my husband is the one that is working for Handshake America now. He is leading the Atlanta chapter.
Awesome.
So we are getting into the schools through word of mouth, through referrals, telling people about the Handshake America program, and asking them if they have a student that they have in mind that would benefit from this program.
That's awesome.
And we're looking to grow it. I mean, we want to add new schools and more students. We need more coaches. We need more men and women that are willing to work with a student through this process. It's about a 4-month program. Engagement.
Yeah.
Yep. So I mean, we give our time for that. One of the things too with my job and the time and freedom of time is that I'm able to have more of be able to have more of an interest in giving back to my community.
Yep.
So my husband and I are getting more involved in giving back and doing volunteer work, and that right there is just, I mean, that's so rewarding.
Yeah, that's the bigger why, right?
The bigger why.
And to tie the why into the next piece would be, we talked about some thought leaders and some people that have helped inspire, motivate, direct you. You know, you have Brene Brown and all that she does, and Simon Sinek. What are some of your takeaways, from either one of them that have helped you?
Yeah, I think for Brene Brown, I mean, she focuses so much on courage and vulnerability. And I think, you said this earlier, like just learning from your failures and learning from your mistakes and realizing that it's all a part of the journey.
Yep.
Simon Sinek says a lot of that too. Tony Robbins, believe it or not, I love Oprah.
Yeah.
I mean,
she's extremely empowering, inspiring. Yeah.
Oh, she's so inspiring. And a lot of the times I think people will, if they have too many failures behind them, it's just like they give up.
Yep.
And
they're weighed down by the past. Yeah.
Yep. And I feel like when I have time to sit down, which I make time for personal development, for reading books, listening to podcasts, that is what keeps me going.
Yep.
And you named a few that are great that I follow on a regular basis.
Yeah, Simon Sinek for me, and both Brene Brown. Like so, I'll talk with you. Start off with Brene Brown. She's all about vulnerability and authenticity. And for me, I've had a crazy life, had an amazing life. And for me, like some of the things that I've experienced in life, either of my own doing or things that were planted in front of me, a lot of people wouldn't be extremely excited to talk about those things in the open because they're afraid of their skeletons, so to speak. And for me, I've been able to learn through the years. Brene Brown's one good example. Another one would be David Goggins' Can't Hurt Me. He talks about, what you've been through is what makes you, right? And it's not supposed to define you. It's not supposed to, basically when you live your truth and you show the world who you are, you're free. And I can't tell you how much that is the case because I've been able to get out there and share my journey and share my story. And in doing so, it's touched other people. It's opened the door for me in a lot of different ways. And just being authentic and vulnerable is extremely powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, you've told me some of your story and what you're doing, and I mean, it's so inspiring.
Yep. Thank you. Yeah,
you're a very great example.
Oh my goodness.
Of what we're talking about.
This show's about you, okay, Jessica? So.
Well, I mean, I have to give you some credit too. I mean, I feel like there's always a moment in your life each day where you can find inspiration.
For sure.
And you have to pay attention.
And it's all around you. You just got to, like you said, take a look at it. Simon Sinek was really big for me a few years ago when he talked about Start With Why. And his video, when I first introduced to him on YouTube, like the 18-minute in Puget Sound or wherever it was like one of the biggest videos on YouTube ever. And he just talks about how the mind works. And we always go back to mindset, right? And we always talk about how you believe things and in your subconscious, how that works, but your mindset. And he talks about start with why. Like, people really don't truly care so much about the product or what it can do as much as they like care about the why behind it.
Yeah.
Why are you doing it? Why is this important? Why is it important to them? Mm-hmm. And if you can convey that message really succinctly in like a small kind of like carved out little, answer for them, they're going to follow you. And that's why you have people that follow you on your team, because of your why. Yeah. Yes, the products are great. Yes, the service is great. But at the end of the day, it's because of you and your why. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I always tell people, I'm like, people don't sign up for the business opportunity. They sign up to partner with you.
Absolutely.
And it's interesting you talk about Simon Sinek in that video. I think I've seen that video.
It's incredible.
a dozen of times.
You can keep watching it.
But what the problem is sometimes is that I don't feel like people know their why.
Yep.
They have to get in tune with their why.
Yep.
And once you are really understanding completely what your why is, that's when I think that you can start to make, movement and really see the success that you're wanting.
And call it whatever you want. Call it fate, karma, call it, faith, call it vibration, right? Like, it's just, you're putting out this piece of you into the world that people are resonating with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So overall, I think that the mission, the charge, what you're focused on is really helping the world. And in that same vein, if people want to learn more about Jessica Chait, if they want to learn more about Beautycounter or just be a part of the mission, how do they find you? And
they can find me on social media for sure.
Okay.
I have Facebook page, Instagram page.
Yep. What are some of your handles, or how can they find you specifically?
So on Instagram, I am the Imperfect Healthitarian.
I love it.
A lot of people ask me why, but I live the whole 80-20 rule.
Yeah.
80% of the time, I am extremely healthy and paying attention to everything that I bring into my home, but it's that 20% that I will eat the birthday cake and go out and have a good time.
Which, by the way, for those that are listening and watching, on December 9th, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Last year in my 30s.
Yeah, is it really?
Yes,
yep. Okay.
And I am just ready to tackle the last year and welcome 40 next year.
Yeah, we're crushing it. My birthday's coming up in a few weeks, and it'll be the second to last year, so I'll be 38.
Oh.
So yeah. So keep crushing it, keep doing it.
Thank you.
And as far as like a go home message or just something to leave behind for the listeners or the viewers, whether it's overcoming things, chasing after things, whatever the case may be, what would you leave for people?
Ooh, this is deep.
Yeah. And I didn't prepare you for this either.
No, you didn't. You didn't.
I like catching people off guard sometimes.
I guess I would say, gosh, let me give me some time to think about this. You're going to have to ask me again to pause it. I should have had all my favorite quotes.
It's okay. It's okay. So your one guiding light every day, maybe, like your one mentality, your piece of mindset that kind of always gets you to where you need to be.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I might swear.
Yeah. So do it. Bring it.
I have this. I have this book that sits on my desk, and it says on the front, "Fucking brilliant."
I love it.
and in it, I have all of my favorite quotes and sayings and memes or whatever I find throughout the last couple of years that I've had this book. And every day I will open it and look at it, and I'll pick one that I always go to. And I would say the one that I always I gravitate to is, why the hell not?
Right. Why not?
Why the hell not?
Yeah.
Like, why not do what it is that you've been wanting to do, or go after what it is that you've been wanting to go after, or maybe something has been, really weighing you down in life. Start small.
Yep.
Make those small changes. It's not about perfection. It's about progress.
That's it.
That's another one for me. So
Progression, not perfection.
Progression, not perfection.
Perfectly said. Unbelievable. Well, keep doing what you're doing. Keep crushing it. Keep chasing after those goals. Keep chasing after the passion.
Yeah.
And keep being a badass leader.
Well, thank you.
Until next time, she's the amazing and powerful Jessica Chait. I'm Jesse T. Be sure to catch us on next week's episode of The Jesse T Show.